D.
Yeah?
I think I did it. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. 17 syllables, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. 5, and then 7, and then 5 again. That's 17. I did it, D. I did it. I wrote another haiku.
Wow, Andy. I am so glad that you found a special use for that journal. Does Miss Fay know what she started with her lesson on haikus and a picture of a baby giraffe?
Oh, D. She loved my journal. And my giraffe haiku, it's in the display case at the main office of the school with a couple of other kids' haikus for the whole month.
Wow.
Yeah, Miss Fay said, instead of writing a story for my young authors project in February, maybe I could write and illustrate a book of poems.
That's awesome, Andy. Wow. So, are you ready for tonight?
I am ready. But,
Okay.
Dee, maybe we should practice the reading.
Okay.
Okay.
A reading based on the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 1 to 12, from the Growing in God's Love Story Bible.
Yeah. In this story, some people go on a trip that took years. They weren't even sure where they were going.
In a land east of Bethlehem lived some magi. These people studied the stars in the night sky. They looked for new stars too. One night, they saw a new star, a bright star. They believed that this star was a sign that a new king had been born. They packed their camels for a long trip to follow the new star.
About 2 years later, they arrived in Jerusalem. And they went to the palace and they asked King Herod about the star and the new king. And King Herod didn't know anything about a new king or where this baby could be found. So he called together the priests and his advisors.
The priest said, prophets wrote that a baby king would be born in Bethlehem. He would be king of the Jews. This must be the reason for the star.
Hearing about a new king did not make King Herod happy. There could be only one king in the land, and he was the king. But King Herod was clever. He asked the Magi to follow the bright star until they found this new king.
When you find this new king, said King Herod, come tell me where he is so that I can honor him too.
The Magi followed the star in Bethlehem, and it led them to a house where they found Mary and the child Jesus. And the Magi knelt before the child, and they gave him presents of gold and frankincense and myrrh.
In a dream, God told the Magi not to go back to King Herod in Jerusalem. So they went home a different way.
Let's pray, Dee. Dear God, please bless this story to our understanding. Amen.
So, I wonder why God chose a star to tell the Magi of Jesus' birth.
Are you kidding, Dee? Stars are so cool. There had to be a star, Dee.
What do you mean, Andy?
Well, Dee, people can study stars and they can map them and watch how they live. But people haven't figured out how to create new stars. They bring light and they fill us with awe and wonder, and they keep us looking up. Of course, it just had to be a star, Dee.
You convinced me. Wow. So I wonder, when the Magi first saw Mary and Jesus, what did they think?
I bet they were happy. Yeah, and surprised and full of wonder about how this tiny baby was going to change the world.
You know, I love the part of the retelling in the Jesus Storybook Bible that says the journey that had begun so many centuries before had led 3 wise men here to a little town, to a little house, to a little child, to the king God had promised David all those years before. But this child was a new kind of king. Though he was Prince of Heaven, he had become poor. Though he was mighty God, he had become a helpless baby. This king hadn't come to be the boss. He had come to be a servant.
Yeah. You know, Dee, last year at Epiphany, when I got my first star word, I was frustrated.
I know.
I didn't understand what my word meant or where to find it.
And now?
I just have to think of Jesus, or find people who are looking after other people the way Jesus told us to.
Andy, I cannot wait to hear your haiku.
Epiphany is the official end of the 12 days of Christmas. We are celebrating today by remembering the journey of the Magi. The Magi came to Jesus, and they brought him treasures of gold and frankincense and myrrh. And they determined which way to go by following a star.
Today, we are going to pick out our own star with a word to guide us in the year to come. We will each reach in the basket and pull out a star. Before we pick our new star for this year, though, let's reflect on the star that was our guiding word or guiding light last year. Andy, would you share what your word was and what do you think about it?
Okay, Dee. Last year, the star that I picked said grace. I was disappointed at first. I wanted to throw that word back and pick an easier one. But I found a friend named Grace, who I really, really, really like. And I started saying grace before my meals. But I knew there was more. And then I finally got it. Grace is a special kind of love that Jesus showed all kinds of people, especially people you wouldn't expect. And he wanted to teach us how to love all kinds of people too. And I wrote a haiku about my star word.
Would you share that haiku with us?
Okay, Dee. It's on grace. Grace, a gift of sweet love, freely given heart to heart. Love, then pass it on.
Amen. Yeah. Star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Let's pick our new word.
Yeah. Happy Epiphany!